Hello こんにちは。 RNG vs CFO 中国対 PCS 元台湾、台湾、香港、マカオ地域フライングオイスター。 RNG は今年の春優勝、 MSI 優勝。しかし中国の3位枠かな。中国は今年めちゃくちゃ強いよ。
I do think taking away the Azir from Mission makes a lot of sense. That is extreme comfort for him. I'm interested to see if he is just going to go then to the Victor or something like that, where he really does excel.
I particularly like seeing the Graves and the Aatrox banned away. Breathe has got Aatrox at like 5 of the games he's played between players.
RNG ファーストピックビエゴ。もうバイは捨てたのかな。結構バイ好きだけど中国のチーム。最近のトレンドはビエゴになってるね。アジアチーム結構ビエゴ好きだな。RNG はジャングルがマジでうまいね。あとはガラもうまいし。トリスターナ。
You know, Wei might have had a rough time back at MSI when the team was still trying to figure out how to play with Finn. But this RNG Trevor
CFO は確かノースアメリカチーム倒したのかな。100T ビクター・トリスターナ。シャオフは何をやる。
loves playing the control mages, does have a relatively small champion pool, hasn't been punished for it in the first game, so I'm interested to see what Xiaohu will bring out here and how they want to play around it. If Xiaohu will just look to go elsewhere, or if he's going to try to pick
リサンドラ、シャオフ、リサンドラ好きだね。
one of my favorite picks for this guy. He never disappoints.
うまいよね。MSI の決勝の最後の試合でフェイカーのあれ縛いてたしな。あ、フェリオス。
The theme is clear. If it's not blue, it don't fly for RNG.
Yeah, and this was actually exactly
that's where you go.
This was exactly what I picked.
ポッピー人気だね。アムムに対して強いキャラってなんだろうな。ブラームは強いだろうけど。ブラームはちょっとアグレッシブじゃないからね。おお、ここでフィオーラピックするチーム多いな。C9 が2回やってボコられてたけど。ブラーム考えてる。瀬戸なんだ。
But again, it was expecting heavy engage from RNG once they went for Viego Lissandra. You add in the Fiora, you add in the set, there's just an overload of melee champions that are going to be flying.
フィオラ相手何を取る。
I really like the Kennen here potentially as an answer because when you have 4 melee champions, well, Lissandra's not melee, but she's going to be all stacked up, right? The counter engage can be so powerful from the Kennen. If you can actually find that big Amumu wall, the Kennen ult coming on top, the AoE from the Victor, the counter engage potential there from CFO is extremely
フィオラ対ケネンは見てないな。RNG vs CFO 戻ってきました。お、ビクター強気にトレードしていく。オイスターうまければいいな。もし NA が全敗したとき0勝17敗でオイスターと戦うんだよね。オイスターが NA を止めなきゃいけない。他はヨーロッパ KR 中国がNA を止めてくれるけど、止めるというか連敗させてくれるけど、オイスターがな NA をボコってくれたら018のドリームがあるんだよね。
So the read there from Gemini, unfortunately incorrect for him. and will mean that he's going to fall a little bit behind the pacing of Wei.
And I think a lot of it goes to what you were saying as we went into that pause about, you know, when you bring out the set, it's a lot about just kind of forcing these flashes, looking for these all-in windows. So maybe expecting Wei to be there to try to find that, but now Wei just going to play around the prio he has in topside to get a scuttle crab.
Well, Wei's going to be able to pick that one up, and I can confirm for everyone in home that tournament officials investigated a question around peripherals and are confident that play will be able to continue unaffected. So that is great news as Wei is going to step into that northern quadrant. The wave is pushed into that grasp of the Undying Cannon in the top lane, and there's already an early recall from Breathe, making his way back towards the lane. I can also let everyone know Dagda just walked past the caster desk and gave us a big smile and kiss. He's so happy how the conversation is played out. But what I will say
CFO は
is that for the Flying Oysters, these
レートゲームチームファイト構成
is really going to draw my attention. Their composition, we talked about how it can have answers into RNG's
まあ序盤、
is
まあ
to
中盤
get
も
to
悪
the
かねえ
stages
か
of the game where they're
一方 RNG はフィオラをどう使うかね
I mean, definitely having the comp there that's
RNG はだいたいウェイがキャリーしてるけど
they've been able to get a ton of vision around their bottom lane.
そしてこの瀬戸サポート
Look for this aggression when you have the Amumu, typically a
あ
lot
んまり
of
見ない
fall
ですけ
ins
ど
for them as well. But RNG have done a great job of tracking
ア
where
ムム相手
Gemini
瀬戸
is.
サ
They've
ポ
actually
ー
got a
ト
ward on his Raptor camp, so they know exactly that he's up towards that
瀬戸
top
っ
side of the
てレベル1でアグレッシブにフラッシュを使ってフラッシュトレードしてブッシュコントロールして戦うようなイメージはあったけどそこまでアグレッシブではないねあーこれを得意の RNG ミッド押し込んでジャングラーと一緒にサイドレーン来るやつななんでこの動きを他のチームはやらないんだろうねこれやれば正直ノーアンサーだよリサンドラを取るチームが少ねえからかリサンドラの CC がやっぱこういうダイブの時とかに事故らないから成功率上がるからかなサイドレーン押し込んでくれてミッドを押してジャングラーと一緒に流れたらもう相手は何もできないからねこの動きは基本自己ランシュな強いですね瀬戸もいるからな瀬戸がタワーショットめちゃくちゃタンクできるしボトムにずっとプレッシャー与えるのかね懸念はだいぶしづらいしな瀬戸をうまく使ってタワータンクさせて突っ込みそうCFO はトップレーナーがスター選手なのかなトップが強いって聞いたRNG のトップレーナーブリーズも強いとは聞いたけど
I do really favor holding on to the TP in situations where you can get the early bounce. Some players do really value the couple minions of experience that they'll lose, but for me, there's just such an opportunity cost to that because if you get ganked without TP, it's very, very punishing.
Yeah, you just fall way too far behind. But we also see on the opposite side of the map, CFO looks like they're getting a dragon. Maybe
ドラゴンゲットチームファイトどうなるお逆にアムムが入っていくリサンドラが入ってこれないようにしたのはでかかったなオイスターやるやんオイスターどうなるあでもビエゴが憑依したアムムに憑依したビエゴ強い W つながる瀬戸がタンクしてるうわいやリサンドラに入っていく判断自体は良かったんだけどねあれリスが E で入ってきたら終わるからその前にフラッシュ Q でアムムが止めたのは良かったんだけど結局もう強いな中国チームはもう序盤の段階からゲームぶち壊すよねジェンジーはなんか微妙だけど
Goomba stomped on the flying oysters.
Yeah, and we're gonna see here, right? Able to get the dragon, and I love what they do here because they pincer in on Xiaohu, who sure is able to buy a bit of time with the ultimate, but immediately goes down. They were still able to get enough done with the AoE damage coming out from the other members that once Wei gets the flash into the
みんなで
field,
ビエゴ を
he gets the first
殺せてたらよかったけどね。てかフィオラも降りてきてたのか。
I mean, Wei playing this out so incredibly well. Breathe even arriving there at the end. We can see back towards live RNG even taking the Herald. So bad going to worse there for CFO. It was a good aggressive look, and I like the initial pincer, but it just unfortunately for them, it took way too much time. You know, the self-cast all for Lysandra, as you said, bought so much space, and now Gemini going to be forced to retreat out of his own jungle.
Caper's verdict is being held on to. Gemini trying to step forward.
NA の18戦目ジェンジーだった。あ、そっか。最終日の最初のゲームだから16試合目か。16試合目でオイスターが NA に勝ってくれれば残りの RNG とジェンジーがぶっ殺してくれると。Okay. NA 上がれるかな。もう NA グループステージ抜けるというか一生できるかのその議論になるよね。グループステージ抜けるのは無理だろうけど3チームとも一生できるかだよな。明日中国と韓国チーム相手よ。2試合あるけど NA 今日で 0-7 で明日 DK、JDG まあ無理だな。0-9前半戦 0-9 マジで18ありそうなんだよな。いやでも RNG やっぱ強いね。
CS is as close as it can be in the middle of the top lane, but it's just a Felios that they need to be careful of. As Xiaohu takes a chunk, Chaos Storm is dead.
お、これはキルじゃない？ああ、レーザー？ノーレーザー。おお。
Solo kill Xiaohu. Mission showing why he's been hit. Oh, Family stepping forward. Koala's got
ダメージ足りないぞあれ。
No flash available to him, and Gala picks up the sick. Against the wall. Gemini is going to be able to use the keeper's verdict. It misses.
惜しい。
Sidesteps and will not be in more trouble.
NA よりいい試合してるわ。もう NA の試合より面白い。あいつら何もせずに負けるからな。
Yeah, we need to see how much Shun is actually going to get here. They're actually TPing down to answer. So Xiaohu moves down towards bot as bot lane was covering mid there. So they're not going to give up that tower. Another plate was taken by Shun though. You can see only 2 plates remaining. And Xiaohu just staying around a really long time here. Gets hit by both sides of the laser. Flash forward. The ulti is dropped. He does have the stopwatch.
似たような死に方をヤハロンがやってたな。ベックス使って敵無視してウェーブクリアしたら殺されてた。
Also gets locked down, and Scala who actually comes in clutch as Wei.
Yeah, we can't watch it. We can't watch the replay. Mission is getting caught up, pulled back, punched in the face, and it's Ming that secures the
RNG 強すぎる。
7 kills to RNG. The soul is stolen. 5 seconds until the Infernal Drake spawns.
Yeah, and RNG have just committed to this lane allocation where they've kept Scala in mid. It's allowing for RNG to find these picks.
もうデュオレーナーをミッドに持ってきてるぞ。
Sure, Shun's been able to find some plates on bot, but with RNG dropping this Herald, they might be able to get even more.
Yeah, another couple of plates going their way, and meanwhile, in top lane, Rest is actually going towards a build that I am really not a fan of, which is actually the Riftmaker cannon. Riftmaker Grass feels like you're building so heavily for the 1v1 in a 1v1 that you're not really even dominating, like you're already losing. Breathe already has the early mercs, he's well on his way to his mythic, and this does mean that your teamfight threat is going to be much lower than were you another mythic and another rune setup, but CFO looking to challenge here at the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, they want to fight.
戦いに行くのか？アムムフラッシュロール4人4トリサーナジャンプもう一回ジャンプできるよトリサーナ。アムムやっぱ強え。
RNG, you know, get knocked down there. Nicely done by CFO. The great engage.
このアムムのスキン初めて見るな。ハロウィンスキンか。
Flying Oysters want to win this game through fighting. They are willing to throw down, they are willing to engage. Despite being in the goal deficit, they stare RNG in the face and have chucked everything at them multiple times.
Absolutely, and I have so much respect for that. The fact that they do get pushed down here pretty early, and CFO just coming right back at RNG. And here it is one more time. Eyes on Koala, Bandage top of your screen. Uses Ming as the taxi for the 4-man ulti. Just beautiful. Unfortunately for them, they can't get much more.
No, and I mean, they do follow up, do try to jump in, but all they really get is summoners coming out from RNG.
でも1キルしか取れなかったのか。
Because it sets up potentially repeat play. Xiaohu!
Repeat play, repeat play. No ulti available. Flash is though being held in place by the steadfast presence.
ダメージが足りないんじゃないか。マジでエネより面白い。なんでだろうね。
And if you look at that vision investment up top, this is what is keeping Breathe safe. Look at this line of wards. This whole section is pretty much entirely covered there by RNG. You know, giving him the safety to push up. You know, whether you're looking for a play over the wall with Hex Flash at the Baron Pit, that's covered. The Krugs are covered. Really, every angle of attack is keeping him safe.
Lyric, 14 minutes into the game, Tower First Blood secured by Flying Oyster. First Dragon secured by the Flying Oysters. They're only 1,000 gold down. It was 3,000 a moment.
アムムのスキンってティーカップのやつが人気じゃなかったっけ？あのスキンめちゃくちゃ見づらいんだよな。バンされたのかな。世界大会のアムム、ティーカップのやつ使ってない気がする。青いやつ。プレーオフではみんなそれ使ってたけど。
Whether I like the build or not, you know, the Kennen is still going to add a lot of threat in on top if you can find that engage, if you can find the setup. But RNG are trying to set up this Fiora, trying to buy time, because the more pressure they get through this side lane, the more danger CFO are in. Rest is paying respect though. Look at that. Lights out. He's got no vision in this area. And he's paying respect to the fact that multiple RNG are missing from the map.
I love that you highlighted it and even more that the observers show it.
アムムお前は自分から入っていくから強いんだぞ。うわー、瀬戸がえぐい。おいおい、やば。うわー。おい、瀬戸もアムムみたいなことができるのか。瀬戸4マンスターンかかってなかった。Holy shit。
Just absolutely perfect, able to take a mid lane turn off of that red.
Oh, the Ring of Frost comes out. Xiaohu, one more shot. Won't have the damage.
They aren't able to get him, but you look on the mini map, they at least are taking.
中国強え。てか RNG4 位か。3位枠じゃないんだ。春優勝、MSI 優勝したのに4位枠ギリギリ上がってきたんだね。クソ強えけど。トリスターナの W がさっきから雑だな。AOE が全員に全て入ったね。Oh my god.
Breaker on all four, hits the haymaker across the entire team, and everyone is piling in.
Look at that face!
And I love it because RNG are one of the most like emotionless, indifferent teams.
しかも5位の LNG に3、2の超ギリギリ。NA の枠を中国に渡すか。
Support set dealt more damage than missions Victor. Now, to be fair, he was locked in place for a significant amount of time.
中国本当今年のプレーオフレベル高かったよね。やっぱ強えわ。
Has a lot of gold in pocket now as well. You know, 2, 2, and 7 has picked up a lot of kill gold, a lot of assist gold. Minga is becoming like a true tank almost. You know, he's building towards the mythic, already has the moon pants in, as I like to call him, and he's going to be tough to take down.
Yeah, and especially as you can see on the minimap, he's actually kind of posturing around top side. Looks like RNG potentially wanting to thread up towards top lane with threat of an engage, while RNG, again, kind of play two sides of the map at once. You have Xiao and Wei playing off to one side, while Ming being this in-between man playing with Breathe and Gala to make sure CFO can't set any plays up.
Now we are moving into towards that 20-minute mark, playing for the Mountain Soul. and RNG have ballooned the gold lead to nearly 3,000. Shuna's been able to pop down the second tower in favor of the Flying Oyster. This will unlock, however, what looks to be an uncontested Drake, the second of the game. For Flying Oysters, they've shown that they can win some of those team fights, but ultimately, RNG were a little bit distracted by Dragon earlier, got somewhat surprised. Outside of that, it has been RNG favored, so we're looking again more. We need to see Rest get involved.
まあ超レートゲームいけばビクター・トリスターナが強いだろうけど、 RNG はテンポが速いね。
Way has just been having a monster game. It's another Viego really going off. You look at the goal difference here. It's absolutely enormous between these two junglers. You know, nearly 2,000 in the lead just in that matchup.
Yeah, and right, he's the big one that they're playing for right now. Still hasn't made his way to that second item, but has Rift Herald in pocket, so RNG still going to be looking to balloon that gold lead. Breeze should be able to get a top lane turret just either by himself or if RNG make a slight pivot towards top lane. So I'm kind of interested to see where they opt into using this one. With Dragon not really up anytime soon, you can't even really use it to get any setup. So it feels like they're going to have to start kind of conglomerating to one lane and get a good push going.
I'd like to see them set up Vision on one side, you know, and then try to push up on that side with multiple members, try to get a crash on a tier 2, you know, extend their gold advantage through that. Because as you say, you know, there's no more easy towers to grab. There's no tier 1. There's no Dragon up right now. He's going to have to drop it before that. If you want to get some value from it, it's going to take that pre-preparation
リフトメーカ
of clearing out those areas so you're not actually getting flanked as you
ー。
go to those
リフトメーカー懸念は珍しいというか初めて見る。悪撃リフトメーカー懸念。
For the side of CFO, this actually has been one of the points where they have been able to find some
一対
advantage
一用か
into the game is punishing Shahu in sides. He does have his flashback up now in Zanya's, and RNG are actually going to give Shahu the support he needs this time and hunt Koala.
Oh, that is a sad-looking mummy. Gets rooted in place, commits the bandage toss. Day3's fired. This is a split pincer move, and the Flying Oysters back away.
But RNG just playing it out so well. You know, it's, as I say, they need to invade one side. So they invade this section of the map. They start to clear out the vision. Now they have an easy setup to actually go over towards this tier 2 and drop it
ミ
very,
ッド
very
ボト
safely.
ムうまく押し込んでジャングルのコントロールを取っていきます。後ろにワードあるけどね。懸念用のワードはあるよ。でも懸念フラッシュがないんだ。
Moser would love to hear me saying that out on air.
あ、フェルスウルト強
Playing
え
the map, pushing the wave, setting up the vision. Then you have Gala, 404. Out of his team's 11 kills, he's been involved in 8. He's sitting on that bloodthirster Gale Force and chunking down the Oysters.
I mean, Shahu is hanging on the side here. It looks like he is looking for a potential angle to threaten them back.
Oh,
And I feel like CFO though might need to find an angle themselves because Breed's pushing in mid.
あ、フェリオス一人でめちゃくちゃゾーニングするな。
But with mission back, they weren't able to force the 5v4. For the side of CFO, you have to overload one lane to not let RNG play out through both.
there were teleport wards available. They were not used. Rest as his team.
テレポートワードあったんだけどね、使わないね。
RNG just brutally
懸念がフラッシュなかったからかな。
forced the bot lane to take another tower.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great setup though. Credit to them. You know, being able to clear out the vision. You know, you look at all the vision now that is littered in this jungle. This used to be CFO's jungle is very clearly now.
瀬戸の仕事は多分懸念が入ってくるときにウルト
I
で
do have to agree. You know, at a certain point, CFO have to pull this.
飛ばしちゃえばいいんだな。
Kennen has not really been involved in any sort of team.
懸念用にイグゾーストは持ってないぞ。RNG。リサンドラ飛ばされる前に W を決めた。瀬戸は入ってくる。懸念がウルトバックラインに届かない。おい、中国強すぎだって。
And it all comes from Wei and Ming setting it all up as a jungle support duo. Now they're going to keep up full control of the bot side jungle, and this mid lane tier 2, it's going to be gone.
RNG looking incredible in this one. Giving not much room for CFO to really get anything done. It's now 6,000 gold lead here. Wei pushing the pace of the game just so incredibly well. You can see how confident he is. Just flash follow on that play, knowing all of the team is collapsing. They're all going to be there behind him.
Yeah, it was just a great follow-up of the communication between him and Ming. Xiao even able to buy a lot of time once he got involved. And sadly, I mean, you've been hitting on the rest build quite a bit, Azale. We saw not really a whole ton of damage able to come out from that cannon. Oh, Ming maybe looking for it again.
Oh, once again, Koala
Oh.
steps forward. Look at that shield.
Amumu.
Ming stays alive. Moonlight Vigil plus the damage from Breathe is enough to shut down Koala.
Xiao
Sit
TP.
backpacking. There's the engage from Wei. Gravity field manages to
裏からリサンドラ。
The flash and run for his life. The flamethrowers
アムムトロールしたな。
And RNG peel into the jungle.
Ming baiting Koala into the play. They're able to find the engage, and now this should be barrier for RNG. I love the setup. Getting Vision down first. They're even going to send Xiaohu to keep pushing in topside because they know CFO have no way to answer this play.
Absolutely nothing they can do about it. Red, white guns as well for Gala, so it's going to go down so incredibly fast. Rest going to try to take a dragon back.
ドラゴン懸念1人。トリスターナも取るのか。
With Shun down there, they should be able to, and they will at least get a bounty off of that, but it's feeling like too little, it's feeling like too late.
取れてない気がするな。
Ming hoping to find the engage onto Shun, isn't able to connect that E, and then Koala, I'm not quite sure why he went with that, maybe preemptively thinking if Ming finds the engage, leaves himself in a terrible position, and then with RNG able to follow up, look at Xiaohu coming on the TP flank is, we actually have something else not going on. And then able to run down the rest of CFO's members and just look at it. Xiaohu going in on one angle and then breathing away on the other.
Yeah, it's the coordination of the collapse from RNG, and you have to love how active it feels like Breathe is being in the game. You know, Breathe always there to make the collapse, to come in, look for the play. Keeping a good attitude about it.
You have to.
Having a laugh. Yeah, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And that's speaking from experience here, Trevor.
I'll give you a hug later, my friend. The one thing I will say about that laughter that we do see out of the Flying Oysters, and also I think there's zero hesitancy. This is a team that wants to win the game by starting the fights, by being proactive. They're not waiting for a mistake to happen. Now, unfortunately for them, it has pushed them further and further behind. As they have repeatedly committed to engages over the last, say, 10, 12 minutes, ultimately they've been punished. Ultimately, the counter blows from RNG have been sublime, and that's why they find themselves in the hole. But they do want to win the game on their terms.
Absolutely, and you know I talk about it a lot.
中国は強いね。
Actually playing to win, right? And CFO are definitely here playing to win, trying to find these fights. Because if you sit back, RNG won't allow you to stabilize the gold lead. RNG will take over your jungle. They'll take away all your camps. They'll slowly bleed you out of the game, and that's no way to try to come back. So CFO trying to continue throwing those haymakers.
NA は KR プレイヤーじゃなくて NA じゃねえや。中国プレイヤーを持ってくるべきじゃない。もう中国プレイヤーは金で来ねえか。中国も給料いいしな。
Grasp of the Undying Build hasn't built out. And the only reason I do focus in on that, he has not been able to really join. The team hasn't been set up. Now, admittedly, the game plan, Vision, they've been bullied and pushed back, right? But it is one of those things that we saw the potential and it hasn't been realized.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those rare games where you're not actually playing against Exhaust as Kennen. Almost always you are going to see Exhaust when you are playing Kennen. So, you know, to me, this was an opportunity to try to go for a very glass cannon style build. Really
中国の若手呼んでもまあ育てる環境がねえからな、NA は。
And try to erase some RNG backline, but it's not the direction that he did choose, and RNG are pressing.
LGL は韓国選手じゃなくて中国選手呼ぶチームとか出るかな。KR 地域になってるけど LGL。
Lyric, is this the RNG you were anticipating? They're pushing into the base. After the look in play-ins, there were some question marks. There were some flaming hot takes made. They took down RNG 2 days ago. They're on the verge of stopping the Flying Oysters. And they've already broken into the middle.
中国はなんか3部リーグ、4部リーグとかあるから来ねえか。
Yeah, RNG again. They've just looked so good coming into groups. They've retooled. They're playing more aggressive. They look incredibly confident, and they're sticking with champions.
中国人プレイヤーっていたっけ LGL に。
This is a signature champion for each of the players on the Rift, and they're just making it work.
Now it feels like, you know, RNG just trying to make sure of everything here.
ラムネ。ああ、ラムネ選手はそうか。国籍は中国なのかな。中国リーグでやってたとは思わないけど、どうなんだろう。
Who's good at math here? Is that nearly 2,000 gold in bounties just on the members of RNG's heads? It is close to that.
You're a glass half full kind of guy.
Oh, I'm a silver linings kind of guy.
結局アリアはどうなったんだろうな。LGL 戻ってくるのかな。デトネーションヤハロンはどうなる。
to stop Royal.
And CFO, I mean, they can't even leave their bases. RNG control absolutely everything. And now with one member down, it looks like they have the confidence to push into the base and try and finish this game off.
Oh, how is this going to end? Mission stepping back. Steadfast presence would delay any further engage, but Ming's the man that started it all and oftentimes ended every skirmish. Showstoppers available to him. He's looking for a ride to go forward. Also watch Koala's Amumu on the right-hand side, sitting next to that Nexus turret. RNG, they're ushering the minions forward. The top wave is about to fall.
And Breathe has already knocked down the final inhibitor tower there. You know, they are moving up towards that last inhibitor. Shun is pushed out.
Rocket jumps on cooldown. That's not available. Flash and cleanse is. He's going to step forward. That's the engage. Koala goes forward.
Oh, Shadow.
Goes the Sad Mummy. It doesn't matter. Shun, however, has taken
Oh.
the Ming. The Chaos Storm is burning. Here comes Rest. No Maelstrom available to him, but... Oh,
Gala!
what? Flash Gale force into 4, and the Flying Oysters are running for their lives.
トリスターナの入りがさっきからクソほど雑なんだよな、アリサンドラやば。
Back in the fight to follow up. CFO are falling one by one.
ワイルドタートルかよ。